Sora had enough time to do something to avoid being swallowed by Monstro here, but he does nothing and just lets it happen. I guess video game characters have some infectious disease that results in them having arbitrary flashbacks to their childhoods whenever they get knocked out.
And for today's weather, expect showers. Oh, heavy showers.
I'm not convinced Pinocchio will be strong enough to lift up those items, let alone throw them.
Oh, it's just Pinocchio! Pinocchio!
I see Donald is just as surprised to see Pinocchio as I was because, as I mentioned before, how the fuck did he get here? I'm also not convinced Pinocchio could carry those huge gummy blocks. Or make those jumps.
What have you got there, Pinocchio?
With this, we can get out of here, Father!
Well, no. You need an entire gummy ship to get out of here. I get what Pinocchio meant, but the way he says that makes it seem as though he thinks they can leave with just this one gummy block.
Really? With this big block, you think so?
It's true. So, how did you end up here, Pinocchio?
Oh my, so the whale swallowed all of you too? My goodness!
So we're really not going to get a straight answer as to how Pinocchio ended up here. I know I'm bringing up this point a lot, but it really annoys me that the game actively avoids addressing this question.
Why do you still care about that boy? He has all but deserted you for the Keyblade and his new companion, after all.
I don't care about him. I was just messing with him a little.
Again, Sora didn't desert Riku, and the fact that Riku is so easily manipulated into believing that earns this game another 3 points. I think I speak for everyone who's ever played this game when I say, Pinocchio, shut the fuck up. So beating that boss caused the water inside Monstro's mouth to drain. For some reason.
This puppet.
He's no puppet. Pinocchio is my little boy.
He is unusual. Not many puppets have hearts. I'm not sure, but maybe he can help someone who's lost theirs.
Pinocchio isn't truly a living being, so can he even have a heart? And even if he does, what exactly does Riku plan to do with him? Rip Pinocchio's heart out of his body and shove it in a Kairi?
A puppet that's lost its heart to the heartless. Maybe it holds the key to helping Kairi. How about it, Sora? Let's join forces to save her. We can do it together.
At last, Riku has some common sense and tries to work with Sora. It's just a shame he chose to side with the demonic bitch in a cloak first.
You'd rather fight me? Over a puppet that has no heart?
Heart or no heart, at least he still has a conscience.
Can a puppet even have a conscience? This is especially ironic given Pinocchio's most well-known trait is how much of a lying bastard he is.
Pinocchio! Pinocchio!
Jiminy, I'm not gonna make it. Oh, I guess I'm okay.
And Pinocchio just gets his heart back with no explanation. Repeating boss fights. This issue gets way worse as the game goes on, so expect to hear more about this later.
So, Kairi's like a lifeless puppet now?
Precisely.
And her heart was...
Taken by the heartless, no doubt.
Tell me, what can I do?
There are 7 maidens of the purest heart. We call them the Princesses of Heart. Gather them together, and a door will open to the heart of all worlds.
Wait, is Riku only just now finding out who the Princesses of Heart are? So when he took Jasmine from Agrabah, he wasn't aware of that part of the plan? Did he just snatch some random girl without having any idea why he was doing it?
And now, allow me to introduce the Master of Terror!
How was the mayor not visible before this? He just pops into existence the second you try to leave the area. From the view you have upon entering, he should have been visible somewhere.
Jack Bravo! know, those ghosts will be a big hit at this year's Halloween.
Thank you. But their movement still needs work. It's not scary enough. I want to strike bone-chilling terror. I'm going to consult the doctor.
How is Jack controlling the Heartless at all? If it's through Dr. Finkelstein's experiment, why did Jack talk to the mayor as if he hadn't conversed with the doctor about the Heartless yet?
Oh, I've got it! Why, of course. The Heartless need a heart.
I think Jack deserves a Nobel Prize for making that fucking connection.
We need the key to this thing first.
How do they have the container, but not the key to unlock the container? Again, if the doctor's experiments aren't working to this point, how was Jack controlling the Heartless before?
Let's try adding memory. Sally? Sally! Good for nothing girl. Don't know why I bothered creating her.
Wow, Dr. Finkelstein is a dick.
I have a bad feeling about this. Why don't you try something else? There's still time.
Nothing could beat what I've got planned. Once we get the Heartless a heart, they'll dance just as I envisioned it.
For a guy who knows nothing about the Heartless, Jack is awfully confident in his plan. How the fuck did they jump out of that coffin so easily? They clearly weren't using their hands to push the lid off, and given their size, I doubt they'd be able to anyway.
Ooh, when I get my hands on that... Well, I've got no hands, but I'm still gonna nab that heart and control the Heartless.
How would getting the heart allow Oogie Boogie to control the Heartless? He could do it using the doc's technology, but I doubt Jack and the doc are just gonna hand that over to him. Spontaneous pumpkin combustion. Somehow, Lock, Shock, and Barrel got inside this room without anyone noticing. Sora beats up 3 kids. Actually, never mind, those little shits deserved it, -5 points. The camera fucking sucks during this fight. Granted, the camera is one of the worst parts of the entire game, but this is the first point where it was actively pissing me off. And Oogie Boogie shot himself to death. Now that's a climax if I ever saw one. Fighting Heartless in this area can be downright frustrating, since you have to climb a tall vertical structure which you can easily fall off of, leading to you having to spend several minutes backtracking your way up again.
We're from kind of far away, and we're not really used to these waters.
Way to play it cool, Sora.
Sebastian can show you how we swim around here.
Ariel! King Triton will not like this!
Why would Triton have a problem with Ariel teaching some sea creatures how to swim? Yeah, they're all from another world, but Sebastian doesn't know that, so why would he be so skeptical? Okay, there is no way I can make this video without talking about Atlantica's terrible controls. They are so fucking awful, and if you've played this game before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And on top of that, Sora's moveset is so neutered in this world because of the restrictions caused by the controls. I rage quit the game on my first playthrough because of this shit, and that alone warrants adding 10 points. Given the angle that shot came from, Ariel must have been close to the line of fire. You'd think Triton would be a little more disciplined and avoid shooting lightning within a few feet of his daughter.
I see exile from the palace has taught her nothing.
Yes, she poses serious danger.
And I told you to keep Ariel away from such danger, did I not?
Triton, Sebastian is a tiny-ass crab. What the hell do you expect him to do? Okay, here we go again with this meddling bullshit. How does Ariel know any of these things came from another world? One might argue she meant items from the human world within the continuity of Atlantica and not from another world entirely, but the game doesn't bother to clarify that, so 5 points.
Those impudent fools will never find the keyhole.
Why is Ursula so confident Sora won't find the keyhole? He sealed, what, 6 keyholes by this point?
Daddy, no!
Again, Triton really doesn't pay attention to where he's shooting that lightning. This time, Ariel is clearly between Triton and his target, so how the hell did he not hit Ariel?
Young man, you're not from another ocean. You're from another world, aren't you?
Huh?
Then you must be the key bearer.
How did you know?
You may fool Ariel, but you can't fool me. You don't know your dorsal fin from your tail.
And again with this meddling bullshit. How the fuck does Triton know there are other worlds? This problem was so easily avoidable by just not introducing the concept of meddling. But the writers did introduce it and then decided to pick and choose when they were going to acknowledge the rules.
Why, we have company. I'm afraid you're a little late, handsome.
How the hell did Ursula do that? Can she teleport? Since when? If she used the trident to teleport, why did she bother to use ink before disappearing?
Your time has come!
I can understand Donald's reaction here. I mean, Ursula is pretty damn ugly. I think I speak for everyone who's ever played this game when I say this boss fight can fuck right off. Is Ursula choking on water? How? If Donald and Goofy ended up in the brig after the ship crashed, why did Sora end up on the deck?
Well, where are Donald and Goofy?
Are they that important to you? More important than old friends? Instead of worrying about them, you should be asking about her.
Kairi!
How was Sora unable to see Kairi until Riku moved? Riku wasn't obscuring her entire body.
Not so fast! No shenanigans aboard my vessel, boy!
Captain Hook and his crew show up out of absolutely nowhere.
Riku, why are you siding with the Heartless?
The Heartless obey me now, Sora. Now I have nothing to fear.
You're stupid! Sooner or later they'll swallow your heart!
Not a chance. My heart's too strong. You can go see your friends now.
How convenient Sora was standing in that exact spot. Also, how did Riku even open the trap door? He didn't push a button or anything. Is it voice activated? And yet another fall from which no one is injured.
How you doing there? Looking for a way out?
Who are you?
I'm the answer to your prayers.
I love how Donald instantly knows Peter Pan is full of shit.
Come on, Tink. Open up the door.
Peter Pan is exposed as a fraud.
I'm Peter Pan.
I'm Sora.
Okay, we're...
Wow, Peter Pan is a jackass.
What? So Wendy's not one of the chosen ones?
There are 7, supposedly. And Maleficent says she's not one of them.
Just like Jafar, Captain Hook doesn't seem to know who the Princesses of Heart actually are. How does Maleficent expect the others to help her find the princesses if they don't even know who they're looking for?
Hoist anchor as soon as possible. Leave all the dead weight behind, including her.
After the trouble of capturing her? And why those 7? What is Maleficent planning anyway?
I rest my fucking case.
Quite a codfish, that Riku, running off with that girl without even saying goodbye.
Run off where? Tell me, where did he go?
To the ruins of Hollow Bastion. where Maleficent resides.
There was absolutely zero reason for Captain Hook to tell Sora where Riku went, but we gotta move this plot along somehow, so...
Thanks, Peter.
Hey, don't mention it. You didn't think I'd leave you and Tink behind, did you?
Tink? No. The others? Probably.
Is that you, Smee? Did you finish them off?
Aye, Captain. They walked the plank, every last one of them.
I don't think you can change your voice that much just by plugging up your nose. Captain Hook gets stabbed from behind, and the only thing that gets injured is his pride.
It was reckless to bring her here without at least using a vessel. Remember, relying too heavily on the dark powers could cost you your heart.
That's not an issue, Maleficent. Riku's heart is really strong, remember?
She's getting steamed again. Do me a favor? Look after her for me, will ya?
Peter Pan has some serious nerve dumping Tinkerbell on Sora like that. And why does Tinkerbell even want to go with Sora?
What?
I like Sora's reaction, though. This cutscene is probably the most useless one in the entire game. It comes out of nowhere and gives you no meaningful information. I have no idea why it was included.
No vessel, no help from the Heartless. So tell me, how'd you get here?
I simply believed. Nothing more to it.
The whole just believe and you can accomplish anything speech might be nice material for kids, but it doesn't make for good writing.
I will have her back!
Take her if you can.
So we're just gonna fade to black at the most interesting part of the fight? Okay. How did Sora's group approach from that direction? The only thing behind them is a waterfall. Shouldn't they have come from the platforms below, meaning they would have approached from Riku's left instead of directly in front of him?
We've always been rivals, haven't we? You've always pushed me, as I've always pushed you.
Riku!
But it all ends here. There can't be two Keyblade Masters.
If the later games of the series are anything to go by, there can be about 1,756 Keyblade Masters.
Let the Keyblade choose. Its true master!
So, how was Riku able to do this? Isn't the Kingdom Key the Keyblade of Light? So how would Riku, a guy with loads of darkness in his heart, ever be able to use it? In this shot, Riku is holding the Kingdom Key. In the very next shot, he's holding a wooden sword. I get this game is from 2002, so I'm not going excessively hard on presentation issues like this, but this one is just so obvious.
Goofy, let's go. We have to remember our mission.
Oh, well, I know the king told us to follow the key and all, but...
Sorry.
Donald and Goofy are assholes.
The darkness will destroy you.
You're wrong, Riku. The darkness may destroy my body, but it can't touch my heart. My heart will stay with my friends. It'll never die!
Really? Well, we'll just see about that!
Riku just tried to murder his childhood friend. To those of you who like to ignore all the awful things Riku does in this series, look no further than this.
He's become one of my best buddies after all we've been through together. See you later, Donald! Could you tell the king I'm really sorry?
Hold on, Goofy! We'll tie them together!
The whole Donald and Goofy abandon Sora situation is resolved so quickly, it makes me wonder why the writers even bothered.
Though my heart may be weak, it's not alone. It's grown with each new experience, and it's found a home with all the friends I've made. I've become part of their heart just as they've become a part of mine. And if they think of me now and then, if they don't forget me, then our hearts will be one. I don't need a weapon. My friends are my power.
Despite what the tone of this video might make you believe, I actually do like this game. But Sora's speech here, while inspirational, is one of the most cliched speeches I've ever heard in a video game, so 5 points.
So, your heart won this battle.
How does Beast know that? He wasn't there when any of those events happened.
Plunge deeper into the darkness, and your heart will grow even stronger.
What should I do?
He just told you exactly what you need to do, Riku. Maybe open your fucking ears.
A Keyblade. But unlike yours, this Keyblade holds the power to unlock people's hearts. Allow me to demonstrate. Behold!
Well, add another murder to the list. On the other hand, Maleficent was the victim this time, so I'll allow it. No points.
The Heartless were using Maleficent from the beginning. She failed to notice the darkness in her heart eating away at her.
Kinda sounds like someone else I know.
It has been there all along. Kairi's heart rests within you.
Kairi's inside me?
Well, not like that, Sora. Although some salty KH3 fans definitely wanted to see that happen. Donald bitch slap. This is a damn good boss fight. So good I'm taking off 5 points. Since Sora stabbed himself to save Kairi, does this count as a murder, a suicide, or both? Sora smiling just before he offs himself is pretty funny though.
So, you have awakened at last, Princess. The keyhole is now complete. You have served your purpose, but now it's over.
And the main antagonist of the game doesn't show up until the game is almost over. Ansem's existence largely comes out of nowhere. The only time he appears before Hollow Bastion is in Destiny Islands when he talks to Sora in his robed form. And just to bring this up because I know someone else will, I'm aware that the Ansem reports are a thing. But I don't understand why people think providing 90% of the game's relevant information in boring-ass diary entries you have to spend hours reading is a good idea. This is a video game. If I wanted to spend hours reading, I'd go read a fucking book. My point is, while I like Ansem as a villain, he didn't get enough on-screen development, and he should have appeared well before now. Good thing Donald didn't attack this random Shadow Heartless, otherwise Sora would have been fucked.
Alright, let's get out of here.
Tell me what happened.
That transition was a bit abrupt.
So the darkness is flowing out of that keyhole.
Leon recaps the events we just saw happen on screen less than 5 minutes ago.
Well, let's go.
You can't go.
Why not?
Because it's way too dangerous.
Sora says that like he's unsure if Hollow Bastion is dangerous, even though he witnessed firsthand how dangerous of a place it is.
Come on, Sora. We made it this far by sticking together.
Kairi, you hadn't done a single relevant thing in this game up until a few minutes ago. It's crazy to me why Kairi is so confident she can help when all she's done the entire game is be a de facto hostage. Sora, you don't need to stand that close to the camera. Gummy ship again. I know I already hit this in part 1, but I feel inclined to do it again because the second Gummy trip to Hollow Bastion is so damn annoying because there's so much shit you have to avoid. And when you combine that with a massive group of enemies flying in from behind you right before you reach the end that can very easily kill you, leading to you having to redo the entire drive, it makes for a really annoying experience. I get the Princesses of Heart stayed behind in Hollow Bastion to keep the darkness from pouring out of the keyhole and destroying all the worlds, but how exactly are they doing that? They're all just standing around. Are they doing it just by thinking? I just want to say, fuck this stupid invisible enemy in Hollow Bastion. I spent close to 10 minutes fighting enemies in the Grand Hall just for this little bastard to kill me just before I entered the keyhole, and I was so pissed. Behemoth. This boss isn't worth any points yet, but keep it in mind for later. In this conversation, Sora talks to the others about not knowing other worlds existed before the events of the game, and I could go into another rant about this, but I think I've complained about this issue enough already. So for the last time, the concept of meddling is stupid, and it was not handled well at all. Of all the spells in this game to make optional, Curaga was not the right choice. How exactly are you meant to know that to get Curaga, you have to go to the library in Hollow Bastion and talk to Aerith not once, not twice, but 3 times? Given how important Curaga is, why was it relegated to an optional event that most players won't think to do on their first playthrough?
Gorge, is that all that's left of the worlds taken by the Heartless?
Those worlds will be restored if we beat Ansem, right?
You betcha!
What makes the group so confident that beating Ansem will restore all the destroyed worlds? The worlds were thrust into darkness, so how would defeating Ansem, a being rooted in darkness, cause all those destroyed worlds to pop back into existence? Unless Ansem was keeping miniature versions of all the worlds he destroyed in a vault somewhere, I don't see how this makes sense. Okay, remember how I said to keep Behemoth in mind? This boss was the guardian of the Hollow Bastion keyhole. It is immediately reused at the start of End of the World. So 5 points for repeated boss fights. And speaking of the End of the World, it is really underwhelming for the final area of the game. The gate to the dark is just tiny pointed platforms sitting in a void with the most generic texture possible stuck into the background. For a game with pretty good presentation, especially given its age, the End of the World feels like a huge letdown compared to the rest of the worlds. Behemoth again. Yeah, they reused it again. That's 5 more points. Now for my second problem with End of the World. It reuses so much content, and I'm not just talking about Behemoth. At one point you have to run a gauntlet in which you fight hordes of Heartless in every world you explore throughout the game. I know you only have to do these fights if you don't seal the keyhole for the respective world, but this is still a shitload of reused content. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. They reused this boss fight again. Again. For the 4th fucking time in the game. Why was this boss reused so much? You know what? I'm done. 10 points. Holy shit.
Riku!
Don't bother. Your voice can no longer reach him where he is. His heart belongs again to darkness. All worlds begin in darkness. And all so end. The heart is no different. Darkness sprouts within it. It grows, consumes it. Such is its nature. In the end, every heart returns to the darkness whence it came. You see, darkness is the heart's true essence.
See, this right here is why Ansem needed more screen time. He was such a badass in the time he was featured on screen. Minus 5 points for amazing villain characterization. Repeated boss fights. I get this is supposed to be a sort of it all ends where it began situation with Darkseid, but a repeated boss is a repeated boss. Big ass battleship thing from nowhere. Taking off 5 points for a really satisfying conclusion of the final boss, even if it had a few more phases than it needed.
Majesty!
Now, Sora, let's close this door for good!
Yay! It's Mickey Mouse. The best character in the whole series. Yay!
Now, Sora, let's close this door for good!
Close that trap!
But...
Don't worry! There will always be a door to the light!
Somebody should tell Aqua that. Damn, this outro is so good. Am I the only one who's obsessed with simple and clean? Just when the main trio has no idea what to do next, Pluto shows up out of absolutely fucking nowhere to guide them to their next objective, complete with a letter from King Mickey. When did Mickey give Pluto this letter? If it was before Kingdom Hearts was sealed, how did Mickey even know the letter would be necessary at that point? If it was after, how the hell did Pluto escape the realm of darkness to deliver the letter? And thus, our heroes take off into parts unknown, and if they thought their lives were complicated at this point, they had no fucking idea what was in store for them later.